Manchester United 4, Real Sociedad 1. Let that just sink in for a second. In a must-win game, the biggest game of our season so far, we've just scored 4 goals and actually, eventually, made it look pretty darn comfortable. The best night of the season, without doubt, for Manchester United so far. Why was it so good? Well, that is, of course, what we are going to be looking at in this video. Before we do that, please could you subscribe? You know, we're in a good mood right now. So please press subscribe, and then we'll take a look. So Manchester United, of course, scored 4 goals, but in typical fashion, we're actually going to do this a little bit backwards and start off by looking at United off the ball. Why is that? Well, because I am of the opinion, if you can control a game off the ball, you've got every chance of controlling the game on the ball. And we saw that from United in this match, using that new pressing shape that we were talking about in yesterday's video. We are talking about Rasmus Højlund, the striker, dropping deeper onto the opposition solo pivot, man-marking Zubimendi, Sociedad's most influential player. We then got Xerxes and Garnacho, the 2 inside forwards, coming up onto the centre-backs, and then the wing-backs in these positions ready to press in wide areas. Realistically, Sociedad just couldn't deal with us in these moments. When they were trying to play out from the back, we were actually just too good, too intense, and actually we had too much physicality. You can see it in the dueling numbers. United were the much stronger team, the much more powerful team in this match. And it meant that we were so effective out of possession. We were doing a really good job of pressing high, but also locking Sociedad to one side of the pitch and then overturning the ball in those positions. It was great to see United being so aggressive. We've spoken so much about taking the game to the opposition, and United did exactly that, despite the bad start to the game. You can see it here, the front 3 pressing high, and you can see Højlund deeper than the other 2. But we're man-marking in this area. We are man-marking the Sociedad defenders, and as the ball moves across the pitch, we're going to see this 4 joining in as well. So as the ball comes over here, United once again lock on, and this is man-to-man, and we force the opposition to play long. The problem for Sociedad was they couldn't win these long balls because United were too strong for them. We can see it again here in the pressing shape. Højlund a little bit deeper, the other 2 a little bit higher up the pitch. And again, you can see we're ready to go man for man. Once the ball has been played short, we are going to jump into those positions, including in the wide area. This is the left back picking up the ball. That is our right wing back applying pressure. This is what we want to see. United using the wing backs to be really aggressive and sort of cage the opposition into their own defensive third. This is really good from United. Just one negative. In this particular moment here, you've got to win it because this is our right wing back high, this is our central midfielder, and also our right centre back, all in really advanced positions. So once you are there, you have got to win it because if not, this happens, and actually this is where the goal comes from. So a slight negative there, but in terms of the tactical idea, it's really good. So United were really good, really strong and really aggressive from a defensive point of view, and that meant that we were able to take control of possession. This is the point. If you're good defensively, it really goes a long way. And like I said, it allows United to get on the ball, as we can see in numbers here. United having much more possession than Sociedad, which isn't always something that we expect against Spanish opposition. They're very technical sides, and it can be quite difficult to take the ball. But United did it really well. In terms of United on the ball, how we look to approach this game, it was fast, it was aggressive, it was quite fluid in moments, I felt, but it was really an attacking performance. This was trying to get numbers forward to, again, ask questions of that Sociedad defence. Now, we were helped by the fact that they were poor defensively. For example, when we were trying to play out from the back, they didn't get enough pressure on the ball, nowhere near enough pressure on the ball. And I thought Heaven had a really nice game, really confident, really composed, taking the ball in difficult situations at times, but he played really well. But what I liked about United's approach here was the aim to try and get Højlund into the game. Now, I'm not just saying that because we want Højlund to score. Obviously, we want that. But I think what we should do at United, and the way we should use Højlund, is to get him involved in the game more. And I'm not talking about dropping into these positions and linking. I'm talking about playing to his strengths, getting the ball in the channel. And we did that throughout the game. Particularly with the time on the ball, we were able to manipulate the Sociedad shape. And I think Xerxes and Garnacho were particularly important to this. They would often start in wider positions, almost connecting themselves or attaching themselves to the Sociedad fullbacks, and then they would move inside to take that fullback with them, and it's more important down this side. But what that does is it creates that channel of space, and this is where Højlund is so good. Even in the past couple of months where he's been less impressive, in these zones he still looks effective. The difference last night was we got the ball there far more regularly. We actually look to, like I said, play to his strengths. We look to do what he's good at. You can see Heaven here with his left foot moving the ball out wide. And when Dorgu picks up possession, Xerxes' position is important. He's quite central, he's quite narrow. And I think that's because of a slight change in build-up in this game that I noticed. and I want to go back and look at other games to see if we've been doing it a bit longer than I think. So I'll get back to you on that one. But anyway, Xerxes in a more central position, and what it does is it drags the fullback narrow. Now Højlund has all of this space to run into. Sorry about the blurriness, but all this space, and this is where Højlund's so good. On this occasion, he actually beats his man, and somehow the referee blows for a free kick, but it's really good play from Højlund, and it continues throughout the match. This is now the second half. Mazraoui now on the right. Yes, with time on the ball, too much time realistically. But what we're able to see is Garnacho moving into this inside position. So when Dalot gets the ball, he's got that channel to hit. And again, Højlund does really well. The build-up, the hold-up play, is good. He protects the ball and brings others into the game. This is what we want. Now, of course, the moments that we've spoken about just there is when United were moving the ball quickly, when there was space to attack and we could be fairly direct. But actually, this was a game where United dominated the ball, pressed well and controlled possession. So there were also large parts of the game where United had to break down a stubborn defence. Were they able to do that? Well, the expected goals would suggest, yes, United were able to move the ball into the final third and actually create chances. The way that we went about doing this was by, once again, being aggressive, being attacking, giving these players a bit more freedom in the final third, which was really nice to see from Ruben Amorim. We haven't seen it enough to tell the truth. This was really good, players expressing themselves. Again, helped by Sociedad being a bit too passive, almost giving us too much respect. In my preview before the game, I anticipated that they would defend in a sort of 4-1-4-1, and there were moments where they did. But actually, a lot of the time, they were dropping even into a back five with one of the midfielders dropping deep. You can actually see that shape here, Sociedad right into the back five. And it was just a little bit too passive. But you've got to give credit to United for attacking that shape. We saw Casemiro pretty much playing as a solo pivot at the heart of midfield. And then Bruno Fernandes just in front. Xerxes in that left half space there. And then on the right-hand side, we saw a nice rotation. Dalot moves inside the pitch and Garnacho played a little bit wider. But what's important is it wasn't that all the time. There was an ability to rotate. They could swap in this position, and I think that's really good to see. And we saw something similar down the left side as well. Rotations. We want that in our attack. But what's important here is the shape. You can see it here. United in the 3-1-3-3 attacking shape. And what this allowed us to do was really nicely, really effectively combine in the middle of the pitch. There was some absolutely amazing play in these areas. I think Xerxes looked to be in a sort of flow state where everything just looked so easy. Every touch, every little nutmeg, every pass, the game looked really, really easy for Xerxes. And that's what we want to see. Players playing with confidence and expressing themselves. And again, being given that license to combine. There were several moments in and around the penalty area where we would sort of move the ball up and have a go here, then set the ball backwards and then look for the runner. And I mean, Casemiro had an amazing game, didn't he? Absolutely brilliant game. His passing range, some of the passes that he picked out from this deep position were absolutely fantastic. And again, if we're going back to my preview, that's why I wanted to see Casemiro in the team, because we believed in his passing range, his ability when facing play to find the right ball. And in this game, he was absolutely top. He's one of his best performances in a United shirt, I think. He played really, really well, helping United to break down this defence. But what I loved was the fact that inside the pitch, we had these players that could rotate and combine, you know, Xerxes, Bruno, Casemiro, Dalot playing some really good one-touch football. But then out wide, we had running ability. We had Dorgu who could go down the outside on the left. We had Garnacho on the right. Players that wanted to be direct and get into the final third. It was so good to see. But what, again, I like more than anything was the aggressive nature. Not even talking tactically about overloading a certain part of the pitch, but players wanting to get into attacking positions. Players wanting to attack that penalty area. For me, that was the real difference in our attacking moments. Let me see if I can quickly pull the clip up. Here we are. So Manchester United here. Plenty of players on the right-hand side. You can see the overload. You've got Bruno over there, Garnacho, Dalot, Xerxes, Højlund, Casemiro, all that side of the penalty area. Overloading the box, and, you know, there's good combination play when you get good footballers this close to each other. You see good moments, of course you do. And eventually the cross comes into the box. But what I like about this is that at the back post, it's actually our left wing-back attacking the ball. That's a sign of United being more aggressive. We've seen, particularly a couple of months ago, moments where our wing-backs would never really actually connect that final bit to the attack. Dorgu wasn't letting that happen. Dorgu was attacking this box really, really aggressively, actually, with his movement. And again, you can see the advantage of this here. Players close to each other, they make things happen, and this is what I'm talking about. Certain United players being in a flow state. I mean, Bruno Fernandes, how good was he? How good was he in this game? Passing to Xerxes. Xerxes lays it off to him. Bruno finds Rasmus Højlund. Højlund lays it off to Xerxes. Xerxes then has the shot. It's beautiful football. And again, it comes from giving these players that license to express themselves. Just that little layoff from Højlund there. it was a more confident player. I think because he had done that earlier work in the channels, he was having good battles with the centre-backs, he was protecting the ball well. It meant as the game went on, granted he didn't get his goal, which will frustrate him, but I think in open play, in general play, he was playing with more confidence, he was expressing himself. And again, actually on the follow-up to this shot, it's our left wing back. So this attack started on the right-hand side, deep on the right-hand side, but it ends up with our left wing back attacking the penalty area here and winning the penalty. And of course, people are going to talk about that, right? United scored 2 penalties, could have even have a third if it wasn't for Dorgu's honesty, which you've got to respect, although never do that again at 0-0, mate. But yeah, people will talk about the penalties. Were United reliant on that, scoring 2 goals? Maybe, right, maybe to get the game started. But I think ultimately, I talk about this a lot. When you get into attacking positions on such a regular basis, which United did, look at the number of shots we had. When you get into those positions so regularly, so frequently, you get those moments. When you put balls into the box, when you ask players to attack those balls, and you put defenders under pressure, you earn your bit of luck by winning these penalties. And then the last 2 goals are really good combination play. I think just all in all, it was a really good night for United. I think pretty much everyone played well, or they either played well or they were quiet. There wasn't like a bad performance in there, which was really nice to see. United players eventually looking quite confident actually with the performance, expressing themselves, Old Trafford having a good time. And all of that came after a massive setback in our biggest game of the season, like 6 minutes into the match. So to come back from that, I think mentally shows some good signs about this United squad. And then in terms of tactically, the attacking threat we had, the individuals shining a little bit, it was a really good day. Of course, the challenge now is to take it into the next Premier League game against Leicester. But perhaps more importantly, after the international break, the next round in the Europa League against Lyon. Are we going to continue that momentum into those games? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But if we analyse this match as a one-off, it was a really good night for United. We played very well. Amorim got the big decisions right and the players executed. And actually, we should have scored 6 or 7 here. If only those strikers could score goals. That was all we were missing. Just one of those strikers putting the ball in the net for the confidence boost. That's all we didn't have in this game. Apart from that, it was top. So, yeah, going to wrap the video up there. Thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it, which pretty sure you have because it's nice to be in a positive energy. But apart from that, I'll see you in the next one.